Alright, good day viewers. So I am just doing a quick video on basic firewall systems. So this video is not to be in depth to any extent, but it's just to bring basic knowledge of what firewalls do. So I have a layout here. It's very simple network layout. I have what we call an IPS. We have the internet, and there is like a laptop. So it's just like a draft. So this thing what we call IPS is basically referred to as an intrusion prevention system, or just another common name, it's called a firewall. So basically, what does a firewall do? So a firewall is basically a system that filters traffic. So it filters traffic coming in and filters traffic coming out of a network. So the IPS, or also called firewall, basically there are two types. We have what we call the hardware type, and then there's the software type. The difference in terms of these two is that one is a physical hardware where you will have installed on the network, and then the other is software based. So meaning that when it's software, it is installed like on a laptop operating system. Now, the hardware intrusion prevention system, being that is a physical device like a router, it looks like something like a switch or a router based on the manufacturer design. It does have a software installed on it. It does have an operating system. It will have systems, software installed to do the filtration of the traffic. But the hardware, this hardware itself is usually physically installed somewhere on the network, sitting at the, let's say, like the gateway of where your network will connect to the internet, or it might be behind, let's say, a proxy server. So it gives added protection for things that are inside of the network. Okay, so the analogy I have here is a laptop connecting. It could be wired or wireless. It goes through this thing called the firewall and onto the internet. Now the internet, for your device to connect on the internet, there are specific ports that carry information, specific ports that would open up on the network, and packets now would traverse to go to the internet, and then it goes through what we call the OSI model layer and so forth. But I wouldn't get into depth with that. But all I'm saying is that with this firewall, if it is that you have a software firewall, what it does, it filters the traffic on the actual device itself. So if you have like a Windows operating system, Windows 11, might be Windows 10, this firewalls on the operating system will do some filtration of the traffic. Now there are pros and cons to this type, the types of firewall. For one, I could talk quickly on the pros and the cons of the software firewall. The pros of the software firewall is the fact that it's on the device. It means that if you connect to a different network, you don't really have to go through all the configuration processes, because it is already configured to allow specific traffic to hit and to enter in or exit the laptop. So, or it could be a computing device. So that is the pro of a software firewall. The drawback to this type of firewall, if there is an attack, basically the attacker is sitting right sometimes on your operating system, right at the door. So once that malicious attack is successful, it means that your device now could be affected immediately. Let's go to the hardware IPS, or intrusion prevention system, or also a firewall. This type of firewall, the advantage of this firewall is that it sits on the network itself, and what it does, it gives added protection against it gives a little bit more protection on multiple devices on the network. So let's say I had another laptop here, I had another laptop here, and so forth. This IPS now works like a big security blockage or filtration system for things coming in and things going out of the internet. Now, also the benefit of that is that these firewalls tend to be a little more robust, and they could handle more overhead. Because when we have software firewalls, remember, it sits on the operating system. So whatever resources are available on the laptop, this software intrusion prevention system will have to use those resources, whereas a hardware intrusion prevention system has its own independence resources, meaning that it will come with its own RAM, storage capacity, processing power, and so forth. So the hardware will tend to be a little more, it could do more filtration of traffic, and it will allow you to do more things like, you know, VPN and so forth, like OpenVPN, Wireshark, IPsec, and so forth. So that is just basically a quick video on firewalls. I would have more coming up, but again, as I said, it is just a basic tutorial on it. So thanks again for watching.